Hello, every hot body. Well, anyone who's watched the Culveyhouse channel over the past 10 years knows that I'm a gaming channel, and I still am, but I'm finally adding more of my passions and sharing them with you. And I figured since I'm really getting fanatical about fitness, I might as well launch a whole new type of content, and this is where it begins. So, I've been undulating back and forth with my levels of fitness for most of my life, falling out of shape, and then getting back into shape, and then falling out of practice again, sometimes for years at a time. But now it's really become a big part of my lifestyle, and I think this time it really stuck. When I moved back to California in late 2017 for a full-time job, I hired a personal trainer, and he really helped me to get serious about weight training, cardio, nutrition, and even sleep regulation. I was missing and neglecting the most important parts of staying fit and healthy, and I finally pulled it all together. And now this video is really me introducing you to my short journey so far. And even though I'm still a beginner and only starting to take weight training and fitness seriously, at least you can follow me from this point, and maybe it might even inspire you to begin your own fitness regimen. Silicon Valley, 2017. I moved back to the San Francisco Bay Area once again, but this time I was in Santa Clara County. Now, even though you don't associate this area with fitness, it turns out that San Jose has quite a bustling bodybuilding, weightlifting scene. So I found a decent chain of gyms called American Barbell Clubs, and one of their gyms was within bicycling range of my new place that I rented. Once I joined, I realized I could afford a personal trainer, so I recruited James Hurst, who also goes by The Bolt, and this was the real catalyst that I needed my whole life. He's an IFBB pro, so he knows a few things about my goals. That revealed another flaw in my pursuit of fitness, that I had no clear objectives or areas of focus. So I decided I'd go for overall aesthetics first, then muscular size and proportion second. So that means strength would be just a bonus, but that would increase slowly over time anyway. For aesthetics, which is my goal, at least half of the struggle is just developing the right body composition. So that involves spot-on nutrition, or we also call that counting our macros. So I had to keep track of my calories religiously, and there was a separate cardio routine, and that was also very important for most training styles. And interestingly enough, I used a bicycle to get around Santa Clara County, so ambulating back and forth to the gym on a bicycle was more than adequate for the cardio routine. That was about 1 hour of 1 hour of moderate cardio almost daily. So we started just focusing on my proper form over everything else. Much of form during exercise involves correct posture during all the movements, so we worked on that. I nailed this fairly quickly, along with making sure I had a full range of motion with each exercise that we added. And then quite a bit of each workout involved warm-ups with just body weight, or calisthenics. And calisthenics quickly reveals errors and weaknesses everywhere, so I worked on areas like knee position, balance, spinal decompression, etc. And at the beginning, we started adding the isolation exercises one at a time, holding off on the harder compound movements until I developed a little more strength and flexibility. Here's a few shots of lateral raises, which target the deltoids. There must be hundreds of variations of these lateral movements, and I discovered that the more I diversify these exercises, the more I'm able to target all the anterior, the medial, and the posterior shoulder muscles, and that promotes that very aesthetic, rounder and wider appearance of the shoulders. Then after a few weeks, we moved on to those simpler compound movements like these. This is the back extension, which is great for warming up the hamstrings, glutes, and erectors. And I got used to these in order to prepare me for the harder compound movements that we'd be adding next. And here's a simpler compound movement, probably one of the most common. These are lat pull downs. They seem basic, but the overall form is critical in this case. And most people get this wrong. So there should be a slight arch in the spine so that you can stretch and contract your lats in a full range of motion. And here's another straightforward compound exercise, and it's good for transitioning into a leg routine with barbells. It's the leg press. So we didn't focus on this much, but we'd occasionally use it for a combination of mild strength training and form awareness. Then I graduated to the three main lifts, or we call them the big three: the bench press, the squats, and the deadlifts. So the bench press seems straightforward, but execution is critical in these, as well as selecting the right exercises. So I chose to diversify my entire chest routine as opposed to pigeonholing myself into just a flat bench press. So using dumbbells, barbells, and cables is one way to diversify, but also change the angle of attack. So a decline, a flat bench, and an incline will also help to fully develop a chest. And then we added the barbell squats, and I needed a lot of work there. The squats actually work out more muscle groups than any other motion, so it's very important that I nailed this early on. I had a mobility issue, or problem with my range of motion, so we practiced making sure that I break parallel during each rep. And it's easier than it seems to find the proper stance while doing squats because it's a natural position for the human body. It only took me about a week to correct all this. Also, in almost all of these compound movements, we place just as much emphasis on the eccentric phase, or the negative, as this part of any rep is generally more helpful and efficient for hypertrophy, which means muscle growth. Then lastly, we added the deadlift. This is definitely my favorite exercise as it works out nearly the entire posterior chain. And also for me, it triggers a major testosterone spike, which not only feels great, but gives me plenty of fuel for a whole workout session, and actually helps me with overall energy and mood. The form here is critical again, and it's pretty elementary, but rather difficult to master. Keeping my spine neutral was key, especially since at my age I can't afford any kind of back injury. So I started fairly light, and I don't add that much weight over time, in the interest of safety. At one point I had a 1-rep personal record of 230 pounds, but I abandoned measuring my max since that isn't all that essential for pursuing aesthetics and proportion. And now I'm deadlifting about twice per week, using several different stances like the classic deads, the sumo deads, and then the half sumo deads. I also do rack lifts, which have a lesser range of motion, but they target back muscles like the erectors and the traps. There's also all these other variations of deads that I have to explore, like Romanian deads, block deads, deficit deads, and more. And that's just another goal for 2020, to diversify all the compound movements. Then in early 19, I had to ditch my personal trainer as I was laid off due to a corporate merger. But then into the summer of 19, I achieved the best shape of my life, and I was definitely the most aesthetic I'd ever been. Then I left the Bay Area, late 2019, for South Bend, Indiana for a few months. I really lost my groove there, and even though we did have a CrossFit box nearby, it was too expensive. Beyond that 1 month that I attended. But CrossFit training was absolutely just as effective as my previous workouts, so I'll probably be adding a CrossFit box or something like that pretty soon. And then finally, a few months ago, I relocated to Dallas for an irresistible job offer, and my friend here has a good home gym with a full rack as well as a sauna. So by having a home gym and a sauna right there in the garage, I'm quickly getting into excellent shape again, even though we sort of have to improvise a few exercises due to the equipment we're missing. And the most important consideration in this gym is that we're still able to do the big three, which is the bench press, the squats, and the deadlifts. And you'll notice that we're missing a lateral pull-down cable, but you can replace that by a little improvisation, like right here. So overall, I'm really excited that the gym's here because it eliminates any excuse for not going to the gym. So this home gym is where you'll see me shoot a lot of my fitness content for a while at least, since most all gyms are closed due to the world's COVID-19 pandemic. And in the coming weeks, I'll think about new content that might help to motivate you to work out at home, even if you have no weights at all and you've never really exercised before. And keep in mind that I'm not an expert at all in physical fitness. In fact, I still consider myself a beginner and just an enthusiast. And just like many of my fitness buddies do, but this is obviously a ripe time for anyone to focus on health and wellness, and so I'll be sharing everything I learn on my channel. Thanks for watching my first fitness video, and if you like this new foray into a different type of content, make sure to click the thumbs up button and definitely turn on reminders and notifications so that you'll know whenever I upload any new content. I'll still be entertaining you with live streams of games as well as gaming video uploads, but now you'll see me expand into more content that covers all my passions. Make sure to comment below to let me know if you have any questions or tell me what you'd like to see on my channel in the coming months. And we'll see you again very soon on a screen in your room. Thanks for watching.